Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Listening Practice Hub. My name is Emma, and today I want to take you on a soft, slow, and simple journey. A story about daily routines, useful English phrases, and the quiet power of practicing a little bit every day. This episode is perfect for beginners who want to understand natural English, learn simple sentences, and build a rhythm that helps them become fluent in 6 months. Not by studying hard, but by living with English a little every day. So take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let me guide you through a story that feels calm, gentle, and easy to follow. This story begins with a young man named Leo, someone who wanted to learn English, but didn't know where to start. He felt lost, overwhelmed, and confused by long grammar rules. But one morning, something changed. And that morning became the start of his 6-month English journey. Let me tell you what happened. It was a quiet Monday morning. The sun was just rising, placing soft golden light on the buildings. Birds were singing lightly outside, and the world felt fresh, new, ready for a beginning. Leo woke up slowly, rubbing his eyes, feeling that familiar mix of hope and uncertainty that learners often feel. He sat on the edge of his bed, looked at the clock, and whispered to himself, "Today, I start for real." He didn't say it loudly. He didn't shout. He just said it softly, but he meant it. Then he stood up, walked to the kitchen, and made a warm cup of tea. While the water boiled, he opened his notebook, a notebook where he planned to write his new routines. He wrote something simple at the top of the first page. 6 months. Every day. Small steps. Then he underlined it twice. When his tea was ready, he sat by the window and whispered his first English sentence of the day. "Good morning. Today is a new day." The sentence was simple, but it made him feel proud. It made him feel like a beginner who was finally moving. Later that morning, Leo went for a short walk. He loved walking early in the day. The air felt clean, the street was quiet, and his mind was open. As he walked, he practiced small English phrases the way a child repeats new words. He said softly, "I wake up early. I go for a walk. I feel calm. I want to learn English. I am ready." Each sentence felt like a step forward. At one point, an older man passed by and smiled at him. Leo smiled back and said quietly, "Good morning." The older man nodded. It was a small moment, but Leo felt something strong. The first real connection created by English. That smile stayed with him. After the walk, Leo returned home and made breakfast. As he prepared his food, he continued practicing small phrases. "I am cooking. I am making tea. I am preparing breakfast. This tastes good. I like this moment." The sentences were simple, but they were real. He wasn't memorizing random phrases. He was describing his life. And that is how real fluency begins. While eating, Leo listened to a slow English podcast. The narrator's voice was calm and clear, much like mine. Leo didn't understand everything, and that was okay. He understood enough. He heard familiar words: morning, breakfast, routine, practice, learning. He smiled to himself. "This is not impossible," he whispered. After breakfast, Leo sat at his desk with his notebook and made a plan. Not a complicated plan, not a stressful plan, just a gentle, realistic one. He wrote, 10 minutes of listening, 10 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of speaking. Repeat every day. No pressure. No perfection needed. He looked at the plan and felt lighter. It wasn't scary. It wasn't overwhelming. It was simple, and simple works. At midday, Leo went to a small cafe he liked. He ordered in English for the first time in his life. He said, "Hello, can I have a coffee, please?" The barista smiled and said, "Of course. Anything else?" Leo shook his head and said, "No, thank you." His heart was beating fast, not from fear, but from excitement. He had done it. A real order. A real conversation. He sat at a table, wrapped his hands around the warm cup, and whispered, "I can do this. I can really do this." Later in the afternoon, Leo practiced reading. Not a long text, not a difficult one, just a short, easy story about someone's daily routine. He read slowly, repeating sentences that felt useful. I wake up at 7. I go to work. I study English in the evening. I want to improve. The sentences were basic, but powerful. He could feel them becoming part of him. In the evening, Leo sat on his balcony and watched the sky change colors. The city lights began to appear one by one. He felt peaceful, something he hadn't felt in a long time. And before going inside, he practiced one last sentence. I am learning every day. He whispered it softly, but the words felt strong. That night, as Leo lay down to sleep, he realized something important. Fluency wasn't a dream far away. It wasn't something only talented people have. It wasn't something magical or impossible. Fluency was a routine, a choice, a daily practice, a simple promise to yourself. And Leo's journey had officially begun. Leo woke up the next morning with a gentle feeling inside him, a feeling he hadn't experienced in a long time. It wasn't excitement. It wasn't fear. It was something softer, something steady. It was the feeling of someone who finally decided to show up for themselves. He stretched slowly, sat on the edge of his bed, and whispered the first phrase of the day. Good morning. I'm ready to learn. The sentence felt natural, almost comforting. He stood up, opened the window, and let the fresh morning air touch his face. Birds were singing lightly in the distance, and the sky was a soft shade of blue. Another beginning. When he walked into the kitchen, he prepared his breakfast just like the day before. But this time, something was different. As he moved, he described each action in English, forming a gentle rhythm. I am cooking. I am making eggs. I am cutting bread. I am drinking water. This is my morning. He wasn't studying. He wasn't memorizing. He was simply living, with English by his side. And that was the secret he was beginning to understand. Later that morning, Leo left his home for a walk. The streets were quiet, touched by the golden glow of early sunlight. A woman passed him and smiled kindly. Leo felt brave, so he returned the smile and said softly, Good morning. The woman nodded and replied, Good morning. Her warm voice felt like a gift. Leo continued walking, feeling a little more confident than he did the day before. He repeated more small sentences to himself. I feel good today. I am practicing. I am learning slowly. I don't need to be perfect. Each sentence was like a small stone placed on a path he was building for his future self. As he walked, he passed a small bookstore. Something pulled him inside. Maybe curiosity, maybe the quiet atmosphere, maybe the idea that learning could happen anywhere. The store smelled of paper and dust and time. Leo looked around and found a simple English book for beginners. The cover showed a person reading under a tree. He picked it up, flipped through the pages, and noticed short sentences. I wake up. I go to school. I visit my friend. I cook dinner. He smiled. These are simple, he whispered, but useful. He bought the book and left the store with a warm feeling in his chest. The feeling of someone who is collecting small tools for a big future. Back home, Leo made a small lunch and practiced more English as he cooked. I am boiling water. I am adding salt. I am hungry. This smells good. He still made mistakes. He still hesitated. But he didn't stop. He kept going. While eating, he listened to another slow English podcast. He closed his eyes and let the words wash over him like gentle waves. He recognized a few phrases, then a few more. Little by little, the sounds became familiar. He whispered, I understand more today than yesterday. And that was true. In the afternoon, Leo decided to practice speaking out loud, something he had always been scared to do. He stood in front of his mirror, looked into his own eyes, and tried to speak naturally. Hello, my name is Leo. I want to speak English. I am learning every day. I believe I can improve. His voice was a little shaky at first, but with each sentence, it became stronger. He smiled at himself in the mirror. It felt strange, but also powerful. Then he tried longer sentences. I am learning English because I want a better future. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to practice. He paused, took a deep breath, and said, I can be fluent. For a moment, he felt emotional, not because the words were hard, but because he actually believed them. Later that day, Leo met his friend Mira at a small cafe. She already knew about his 6-month plan. When she saw him, she smiled and asked, So, how is your English journey going? Leo smiled shyly. I practiced today, he said. In the morning and at lunch and even now. Mira leaned forward. Show me, she said with excitement. Tell me something in English. Leo took a gentle breath, held his cup with both hands, and said, My day is good. I am learning English a little every day. Myra's eyes widened. That sounded great. Leo laughed nervously. It felt strange but good. You're doing it, she said. You're speaking. That's what matters. Her encouragement warmed him deeply. That evening, Leo walked home alone. The street was calm, and the sky had turned a deep orange. As he walked, he practiced his last sentences of the day. I am tired, but I am proud. I learned today, and I will learn tomorrow. When he reached his door, he whispered, This is real. This is working. He entered his home, washed his face, and sat quietly for a moment at his desk. Then he wrote in his notebook, Day 2, I spoke. I listened. I practiced. I didn't stop. I am proud of myself. He closed the notebook slowly, feeling peaceful. For the first time in his life, Leo didn't feel like an outsider to the English language. He felt like a beginner walking towards something big. And tomorrow, the journey would continue. Leo woke up on the third day with a softer kind of confidence. Not loud, not dramatic, but quiet and gentle, like a small light inside his chest that refused to go out. He lay in bed for a few seconds, listening to the early sounds of the morning, the hum of the city far away, the soft movement of the curtains, his own breathing. He whispered his first English sentence of the day. "Good morning. I'm ready to try again." And those simple words set the tone for the entire day. He climbed out of bed, went to the kitchen, and began preparing breakfast. As he cracked eggs and toasted bread, he practiced beginner's phrases out loud. "I am cooking breakfast. I am hungry. I want something warm. This smells nice. I feel calm." The phrases matched the rhythm of his movements. Cooking had become a language lesson, and English had become a habit, not a burden. When he sat down to eat, he added new sentences. "I like mornings. I like learning. I like small steps. I am getting better." He wasn't forcing anything. He wasn't memorizing lists. He was simply speaking about real life in real time, and that was more powerful than any textbook. After breakfast, Leo opened his notebook and added a new routine. Morning review, 5 minutes. He wrote 3 phrases he wanted to use throughout the day. 1, I can do this. 2, I am learning slowly. 3, English is part of my day. He repeated each phrase softly, like a promise to himself. Later, Leo stepped outside for his morning walk. The air was cool, fresh, and full of little sounds: a dog barking, a car passing slowly, footsteps on the pavement. He whispered simple observational sentences. "It is sunny. It is a nice day. I am walking slowly. I enjoy this." Then he added something new, a question. "How are you today?" He practiced the question again and again, getting comfortable with the sound. As he kept walking, he passed a woman watering plants on her balcony. She looked down and smiled. Leo smiled back and said softly, "Good morning." And she replied warmly, "Good morning to you." It was short. It was simple. It was exactly what he needed. Leo continued walking with a gentle excitement in his chest. After the walk, Leo returned home and decided to try something he had never done before: speaking English for a full minute without stopping. He stood in front of the mirror and began. "My name is Leo. I am learning English every day. I wake up early. I drink tea. I go for a walk. I listen to English. I practice speaking. I try to learn slowly. I don't want to be perfect. I just want to speak. I am changing. I feel better than before." He paused and smiled. His English was simple, sometimes broken, sometimes shaky, but he didn't stop. And that was the victory. When he finished, he whispered, "I did it." It wasn't 1 minute. It was closer to 40 seconds. But that didn't matter. He had spoken without freezing, without fear, without shame, and that made him feel strong. Around midday, Leo went to the same cafe where he had practiced the day before. This time, he felt a little braver. He approached the counter and said, "Hello, can I have a tea, please?" The barista smiled. "Sure. Anything else?" Leo shook his head confidently. "No, thank you." The barista replied, "Your English sounds good." Leo felt his cheeks grow warm, but in a good way. "Thank you," he said. He sat at a table near the window, watching people pass by outside. He practiced short, useful phrases quietly to himself. "I am waiting. I am sitting. I am relaxing. I like this cafe. I am practicing my English." His tea arrived. He thanked the barista again, and as he sipped the warm drink, he wrote in his notebook, "Small conversations are helping me." In the afternoon, Leo met his friend Mira again. She always supported him, always encouraged him. When she saw him, she smiled and asked, "How's your English today?" Leo answered in English without thinking, "I feel good. I practiced this morning." Mira raised her eyebrows with pleasant surprise. "You didn't hesitate. That sounded natural." Leo smiled shyly. "I'm trying to speak more." "You're doing better every day," she said. Her encouragement made him feel proud of himself in a way he couldn't explain. Later that day, Leo decided to add a new habit: evening listening. He found a slow English video and played it while sitting on his bed. The gentle voice felt comforting, almost like a friend sitting beside him. He repeated short sentences. "I understand this. This is easy. I know this word. I am learning." He didn't understand everything, but he understood more than yesterday, and that was enough. At night, before going to sleep, Leo opened his notebook and wrote, "Day 3. I understand more today. I spoke with confidence. I am proud. I will continue tomorrow." He closed the notebook, turned off the light, and lay down. As he closed his eyes, he felt something warm inside him. Not fear, not pressure, not stress, but possibility. And that feeling carried him into sleep, because he knew he wasn't just learning English. He was building a new life. Leo woke up on the 4th day before his alarm even rang. Not because he was stressed, not because he was anxious, but because his body and mind were slowly getting used to a new rhythm. A rhythm that included English. A rhythm that included small victories. A rhythm that made him feel alive. He stretched, sat up in bed, and whispered, "Good morning. I'm ready for a new day." His voice felt steadier than before, more natural, more certain. He got out of bed, walked to the kitchen, and made the same simple breakfast. But this time, he added something new, a daily English affirmation. As he cooked, he said softly, "I can learn anything. I am patient with myself. I practice every day. I am becoming fluent." The words felt like warm water flowing through him, calming him, strengthening him. After breakfast, Leo stepped outside for his morning walk. The sky was covered with light clouds, the air was cool, and the city had that peaceful early morning energy. Birds moved from one rooftop to another, and the sound of distant traffic hummed like a low melody. He whispered simple phrases as he walked. "I am walking slowly. I feel good today. I like this morning. I am learning step by step. A runner passed by and gave him a friendly nod. Leo returned the gesture. For the first time, he felt like he belonged in the world of English speakers, even though the exchange wasn't in English. Confidence isn't always about words. Sometimes it's about the way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you show up. When he arrived at the park, he sat on a bench and pulled out the beginner English book he bought the day before. He opened to a random page and read slowly. I wake up at 7. I wash my face. I eat breakfast. I go to work. These sentences were simple, but Leo read them with respect because he understood something important now. Simple English is not weak. Simple English is strong. Simple English is communication. Simple English is fluency for beginners. He read each sentence carefully, repeating the rhythm in his mind. Then he practiced aloud. I wake up early. I go for a walk. I eat breakfast at home. I study English in the afternoon. These weren't just phrases. They were sentences about his real life that made them powerful. Later that morning, Leo returned home and made a cup of tea. He sat at his desk and opened his notebook to write something new, my daily routine. Then he listed simple sentences. I wake up at 7. I make breakfast. I practice English. I go for a walk. I listen to slow English. I speak for 1 minute. I write in my notebook. When he finished, he whispered, "This looks like a real English routine." Around midday, Leo had to go to the grocery store. He didn't plan to speak English there. He wasn't expecting anything unusual, but something small happened, something that changed the way he saw himself. As he was choosing fruit, an older woman beside him dropped a small bag. Leo reacted without thinking. He picked it up and handed it to her. Without planning, without preparing, without fear, he said, "Here you go." It was simple. It was tiny, but it was English. And he didn't freeze. He didn't shake. He didn't overthink. The woman smiled warmly. "Thank you." Leo walked away slowly, feeling his heartbeat rise with pride. "I spoke. Without thinking," he whispered. That moment stayed with him for the rest of the day. In the afternoon, Leo met Mira again at the café. She sat at a table near the window, holding a cup of hot chocolate. When she saw him, she waved excitedly. "How's the 6-month plan today?" she asked. Leo smiled and answered in English. "I spoke at the store. It was only 2 words, but I spoke." Myra's eyes widened. "That's amazing. That's real progress." Leo sat down and looked out the window. "It felt natural," he said. "I didn't freeze. I didn't think too much." "That means your brain is adapting," Mira said softly. "You're becoming comfortable with English." Leo took a sip of his drink and whispered, "I think I'm changing." And he was. After talking for a while, Mira suddenly asked, "Leo, what's your goal for today's speaking practice?" Leo paused. He felt a small fire inside him, quiet but present. "I want to speak for 1 minute again," he said. "But this time, I want it to feel more natural." Mira smiled. "You can do it. Tell me about your day." Leo took a slow breath, placed his cup down, and began. This morning I woke up early. I felt good. I made breakfast and I practiced English. I went for a walk and read my new book. I went to the store and I spoke for a moment. It was small, but I am proud. Now I am here and I feel happy. He stopped and looked at Mira nervously. She clapped softly. That was more than a minute, she said, and it was natural. Leo felt something warm fill his chest, a soft, glowing pride. That evening, Leo went home feeling lighter. He changed into comfortable clothes, sat on his couch, and listened to English again. The narrator's voice felt familiar now, like someone who had been traveling with him these past days. Leo repeated new sentences. I am getting better. I can speak slowly. I understand more each day. I am learning naturally. He closed his eyes and let the words settle in his mind. Before going to sleep, Leo opened his notebook and wrote, Day 4. I spoke naturally today. I understand more than before. I feel confident. I will continue tomorrow. One day, I will be fluent. He put down his pen and smiled, because for the first time, he didn't just believe he could be fluent. He believed he was becoming fluent already. Leo woke up on the 5th day feeling something he hadn't felt in a long time, a quiet confidence resting inside him like warm sunlight. It wasn't loud or dramatic. It wasn't perfect or complete, but it was real. He stretched slowly, sat up, and whispered the first English phrase of the day. Good morning. I believe in myself. Those words felt different. They didn't feel like practice anymore. They felt like truth. He walked to the kitchen and began making breakfast. As he moved around, he continued practicing simple sentences, letting English flow naturally. I am cooking breakfast. I feel relaxed. I am starting my day. I want to learn something new. His voice was calmer now, smoother, almost steady. He didn't force anything. He didn't rush. He simply spoke as he cooked. When he sat down to eat, he added a few more phrases. I am proud of myself. I am learning every day. I am getting stronger. These sentences weren't just words. They were reminders of who he was becoming. After breakfast, Leo stepped outside for his morning walk. The sky was painted with soft shades of pink and orange. The air felt warm and comforting. People walked slowly on the sidewalks, starting their days. The world felt peaceful. Leo walked with a relaxed rhythm, whispering beginner phrases as he moved. I am walking outside. I enjoy the morning. I like this time of day. I am learning with every step. He passed by a man walking his dog. The man smiled. Leo hesitated for a second, then said clearly, Good morning. The man smiled wider. Good morning. That simple exchange made Leo feel brave. He kept walking with a little more confidence in his steps. When he reached the park, Leo sat on his usual bench beneath a tall tree. He opened his beginner English book again, turning to a new page. He read slowly. I eat breakfast at 8. I go to school. I meet my friends. I study English in the afternoon. He repeated each sentence softly, letting the rhythm settle in his mind. Then he closed the book and tried to talk about his own routine. I wake up early. I go for a walk. I make breakfast. I listen to English. I practice speaking every day. As he spoke, he noticed something surprising. The sentences felt natural.
Smooth. Easy.
He looked up at the sky and whispered, I think English is becoming a part of me. When Leo returned home, he made a cup of tea and sat at his desk. He opened his notebook and wrote a new section. Useful phrases for today. He listed sentences he wanted to practice. I feel confident. I can speak slowly. I understand more now. I will continue learning. He read each phrase aloud, paying attention to the way the words moved through his mouth. The sounds no longer felt foreign. They felt familiar, like old friends returning home. Around midday, Leo went to his favorite cafe again. The barista recognized him and smiled warmly. Tea today? She asked. Leo smiled back and said confidently, Yes, please. 1 tea. She nodded. You sound more confident today. Leo laughed softly. Thank you. I'm practicing. The barista handed him his tea. Well, it's working. Leo sat at his usual table by the window. He took a slow sip of tea, looked outside, and whispered, I'm really doing this. He practiced more phrases. I am sitting in the cafe. I am watching people. I am practicing English. I am improving every day. These simple phrases were becoming the foundation of his fluency. In the afternoon, Leo had his weekly meeting with Mira at the park. When she saw him, she waved excitedly. How's day 5 of your 6-month plan? She asked. Leo smiled, took a deep breath, and answered in English. Today is good. I practiced in the morning. I walked for a long time. I read my book. I spoke at the cafe. I feel happy. Myra's eyes sparkled. That sounded so natural. Leo looked down shyly. I still make mistakes, he said. Mira shook her head. Everyone makes mistakes, but you speak without fear now. That's huge. Leo felt a warm pride fill his chest. I want to keep going, he said, every day, even when it feels hard. Mira nodded. That's how fluency grows. They sat together for a moment, listening to the soft breeze. Then Mira asked, Do you want to try speaking for 2 minutes today? Leo froze for a second. 2 minutes felt big. But something inside him whispered, You can do this. So he nodded. He took a breath and began. This morning I woke up early. I felt good. I made breakfast. I practiced English while cooking. Then I went for a walk. I said good morning to someone. It was a nice moment. Then I sat in the park and read my book. I practiced speaking. I came to the cafe and ordered tea. Now I am here with you. I feel proud. I feel calm. I think English is becoming part of my life. When he finished, he looked at Mira nervously. She smiled with genuine pride. That was beautiful, she said softly. Do you know what that was? Leo shook his head. That was fluency, she said. Leo felt something rise inside him, a mixture of surprise, pride, and quiet happiness. Really? He asked. Yes, she said. Because fluency begins the moment your fear stops controlling you. Leo breathed in deeply, letting the truth settle inside him. That evening, back home, Leo sat on his balcony with a warm drink. The sky was turning dark, and the city lights flickered on like stars returning to Earth. He closed his eyes and practiced a few final sentences. I spoke today. I learned today. I improved today. I am becoming confident. He opened his eyes slowly and whispered, one day, I will be fluent. Then he corrected himself softly.
No.
I am becoming fluent. He smiled, because it was true. Before going to sleep, Leo opened his notebook and wrote, Day 5. Today I spoke for 2 minutes. I felt calm. I felt confident. I am improving every day. I can be fluent in 6 months. I am proud of myself. He closed the notebook gently, placed it beside his bed, and whispered, I am ready for tomorrow. Then he turned off the lights and fell asleep peacefully, not as a beginner who was struggling, but as a learner who was growing. Leo woke up on the 6th morning feeling something he had never felt before on this journey. Certainty, not hope, not excitement, not even confidence, but certainty. A quiet knowing inside him that whispered, I can do this. He opened his eyes slowly, stretched his arms, and sat on the edge of the bed. For a moment, he just breathed, calm, steady breaths that grounded him in the new version of himself. Then he whispered the first English sentence of the day. Good morning. I'm ready for day 6. His voice didn't shake. His voice didn't hesitate. His voice didn't hide. He stood up, walked to the kitchen, and made breakfast with the same gentle rhythm as before. But this time, his English sentences flowed like water, smooth and natural. I am cooking breakfast. I feel relaxed today. I am preparing food. This is my morning routine. I enjoy this. He didn't even think about the words. They came naturally like breathing. As he sat down to eat, he whispered, I am becoming fluent. And for the first time, he fully believed it. After breakfast, Leo stepped outside for his morning walk. The sky was soft and gray, the kind of weather that makes the world feel quiet. The streets were calm, and the trees moved gently with the wind. He whispered simple observational phrases. It is cloudy today. The air feels cool. I like this morning light. I am walking slowly. He passed by the same older man with a dog. The man smiled warmly and said, Good morning. Without hesitation, Leo answered, Good morning. How are you today? The man laughed gently. I'm good. Thank you. Leo continued walking, his heart beating with a pleasant excitement. I said a full sentence, he whispered. I did it naturally. That small interaction carried him through the rest of the walk like a soft wave of pride. When he reached the park, Leo sat on his usual bench. He opened his beginner English book again, but something felt different. The sentences that once seemed like simple exercises now felt like tools he had already mastered. He read aloud. I wake up early. I eat breakfast. I practice English every day. I feel confident. Then he closed the book and began speaking freely about his own life. My English is getting better. I understand more now. I can speak slowly and clearly. I still make mistakes, but I don't feel afraid. I enjoy learning. I am proud of myself. His voice was steady. His words were smooth. His fear was quiet. For the first time, Leo wasn't practicing English. He was using English. Later that morning, Leo returned home and made a cup of tea. As he waited for the water to boil, he practiced useful phrases aloud. I can talk about my day. I can order food. I can ask questions. I can answer in English. The phrases no longer felt like dreams. They felt like abilities. He took his tea to the balcony, sat down, and whispered, I am not the same person I was 6 days ago. And he was right. At midday, Leo went to the grocery store again. This time, he walked with confidence, shoulders relaxed, steps steady, mind clear. When he reached for a carton of milk, a young woman beside him accidentally bumped into him.
Oh, sorry, she said.
Leo smiled and replied naturally, It's okay. No problem. The woman smiled back. Thanks. Leo walked away with a soft laugh. I didn't even think, he whispered. The answer came out by itself. These small, quiet victories meant everything to him. In the afternoon, Leo met Mira in the park for their daily check-in. She was sitting on their usual bench, waving excitedly when she saw him. Well, she asked, how is day 6? Leo sat beside her, took a breath, and answered in English. Today feels easier. I spoke in the morning. I read my book. I talked to someone at the store. Everything feels natural now. Myra's eyes softened with pride. That's real progress, she said. You've changed. Leo looked down for a moment. I feel different, he whispered. I'm not scared anymore. And that, Mira said gently, is exactly how fluency begins. They sat together in silence, watching the wind move through the trees. Then Mira turned toward him with a smile. Do you want to try something new today? Leo blinked. What is it? Tell me, she said, how English will fit into your life for the next 6 months. Speak freely. Speak naturally. Leo smiled nervously but nodded. He took a slow breath and began. I will practice every morning. I will speak even when I feel shy. I will listen to English every day. I will try to talk with people, even if it's only one sentence. I will learn slowly, step by step. I will not stop. I believe I can be fluent. I can see it now. English is part of my life. It is not something scary anymore. It is something I use, something I enjoy. Myra's eyes filled with emotion. That, she whispered, was beautiful. Leo felt something warm rise inside his chest. I think, he said quietly, I'm starting to speak naturally. That evening, Leo went home feeling lighter than ever. He made dinner slowly, repeating small sentences as he cooked. I am chopping vegetables. I am cooking dinner. I am relaxing. After eating, he sat on his balcony with a warm drink and looked at the sky. The city lights shimmered softly. The world felt peaceful. He practiced his final sentences of the day. I spoke today. I improved today. I didn't stop today. I am growing every day. Then he whispered the sentence that had carried him from day 1. I am becoming fluent. Before going to bed, Leo opened his notebook and wrote, Day 6. I feel confident. I can speak naturally. I am learning every day. I understand more and fear less. I am changing. I believe in myself. Fluency is not far. It is growing inside me. He closed the notebook gently, placed it beside his pillow, and turned off the light. As he lay down in the dark, he felt calm. He felt proud. He felt ready. For the first time, Leo knew that fluency wasn't a dream. It was a destination, and he was already on the road. Thank you for listening to this story today. And thank you for giving yourself this quiet space to breathe, learn, and grow. If Leo's journey touched you, if you recognized your own fears, your own hopes, your own small victories in his steps, then remember this. You can grow just like he did. You can learn just like he did. You can become fluent little by little, moment by moment. Fluency doesn't arrive in one big moment. It arrives gently through small daily actions. 10 minutes of listening. A few simple sentences spoken out loud. A small conversation with a stranger. A little courage when your voice shakes. Every step matters. Every effort counts. Every day you return, you become stronger. So keep going. Keep listening. Keep practicing, even on the quiet days. Especially on the quiet days. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to stay with us. Here on English Listening Practice Hub, you will always find calm voices, simple stories, and real moments that help you learn naturally, the same way children learn a language, gently, slowly, and without fear. And remember, every time you listen, learning becomes easier.